Hello. I have been doing some resin. It's been since March. Yes. March or April. No, it's been since April because I did a snail with some found objects that I found in nature in Maine. And that was the last time I did it because it got too hot. I got too busy. But now the weather is cooler. So I have been doing it outside here on my front porch. And I've been doing Halloween things. Neighbor across the way is weed whacking. So that's what you hear in the background. Hopefully that won't bother you. I made a pumpkin trinket. And then you are sitting on the other box of things that I also made. I made some cats. Very excited to get back into this. I missed it so much. I already noted that this one is messed up. These are supposed to be skull coasters. And the way that I think my this is the bottom to that oven. I've shown that in a previous video. I think the way it was sitting, I didn't have enough resin on it. So this is, you can see right here, it's not completely full. I'll take it out anyway, I think, or I might keep this one in. And then if I have clear, I'll try and put it over the top of this, so like a small, smooth coat. Because the rest of it turned out fine. Here is one. Let's see. See, in this one, I could feel the nose. The nose still has a hole in it, which isn't too bad. Should I take that out or try to do? I might do a fine. I might do a fine, thin coat of that on top of there too, because I can feel all the rubbery things, and maybe set it more on a level. It was already coming over. You can see it was kind of coming over the side. That's okay. I had made the hat, and then I always use up the rest of my resin with other things. So here's a pumpkin. This is always the exciting part, is unboxing, demolding. Demolding the resin. Here it's a gray pumpkin. And here is the smaller sized pumpkin. They're so tiny and cute. And two of those, and then the big reveal was this. It is a little pumpkin house with a witch hat. What do you want to do first? Let's do the hat. So I dusted it with purple mica powder, and then I poured it with that same gray as the pumpkins. And hopefully the brim didn't have any bubbles in it. Hopefully I didn't rush it. Sometimes I get excited and I don't wait long enough. But so far it looks like the brim doesn't have any holes, which is pretty good. Turn it this way. It's gonna, look at that. Oh good. There's a little bubble on the bottom of this here, but it's underneath, so it doesn't really affect it too much. This is my first getting back into the swing of things. I think that turned out super cute. The little hat. And then here is the bottom of the trinket. There you go. And I took some mica powder and did the front door itself. And then I did the windows, and then this will need to be trimmed up a little bit. I was running out, and I'd hate making more because then I always make more and then it's always too much. So I'm going to be able to file this down, trim that up, make it not so sharp, but this is what it looks like with the little hat on. There are some tiny little bubbles that I see. It's not perfectly perfect, but overall I'm pleased with this. If someone gave this to me, I'd be like, oh, you did a great job. Sometimes I look at it, I'm very critical. It's like, oh, that's off. You know, that looks bad, but this looks pretty good. There is a bubble right there. I do try to make it as clear as I can, especially if there's no color. But using the mica powder to color the resin kind of hides those flaws. I think that turned out spectacular. All right, let me move you off the box and we will see the cats that I made. Let me turn these right side out. I'm going to be making some more resin today, and then probably adding it to this video when I unbox it. So let me move you. Just hold on 1 second. I'm back. So are you. All right, if you followed me last year, you might recognize these cats. I sold these on Whatnot, and I will be selling the resin on Whatnot. People tend to like my resin shows. At least they did last fall, and I hope they do this fall too. This is just the head on this cat mold here. So it's like a little paperweight. It's a little shadowy here in the underneath the porch, but I think you get a good look at it. And it's just flat on the back. It's a little kitty cat. And then these I also brushed little areas with the mica powder to add more detail. These kind of remind me of steampunk cats. A little extra resin there, has to be trimmed off a little bit. Here's a little kitty cat with a hat, and I did it purple and blue. And then there's a ruffle there. I think that turned out cute too. And then this one is a witch's hat. These molds always turn out really nice. There's only one that I think it's this one that it kind of, the bow gets a little wonky, but overall this is a really nice mold. Look at this one. That turned out cute too. Those are the 3 cats I've made, and I had extra, so I made some fish, and these are the little koi fish. I usually sell these 3 in sets of 3. I had 2. I had enough for 2 fish. There's a little, see, there's a little bubble. See how this is a little bubble there and there? That was my fault. I poured it too fast. So those are just slight imperfections, but it kind of, I think, goes with the territory when you're pouring resin. And then these are little bird molds. People like to add these to planters or put them in their windowsill. There's 2 different styles. There's this one. He's kind of getting ready to fly, and then this one, this model is my favorite, just because of the way it's set. It's a little bit trickier to get out. There we go. That's coming. I like how that one looks. It just sits there. It's like a little miniature bluebird of happiness. So we have, let me flip you around here so you can see them better. Cats and trinket box and the little pumpkins. We'll have to fix the skeletons, and I'll show you the succulents that I've also made. I made some succulents the other day. I was just using green. I only used one color. This was my first day back into doing resin. So I actually have 3 different sizes in the pumpkins. And then here you can see I made more birds. They're always nice to use up the last of your resin, because resin is expensive. You don't want to just throw out. I keep throwing these. They're a little slippery right now. Don't throw the merchandise. It's a good way of using up every last bit of your resin, and then you have something a little extra for people to use as well. My mom uses these near her fountains. We'll put the fish near the cats. Hopefully they won't eat it. These turned out super pretty. So there's 3 greens. And then here's some more succulents. I make little succulent gardens sometimes. Put them together for people in little planters or something like that. This one I had, see, this is I had some extra resin, and I just poured it into the succulent, and then it just kind of stayed there because it doesn't go bad. And then when I was using the green, I added the green to the top of it, and I think that turned out nice. And then here's another succulent, a couple little, you can see the air bubbles popped, but that kind of adds to the realism of the plants. One of my favorite things to make is skulls. And so I got a skull. I have a skull idea to put this glow-in-the-dark chain link that I got at the Dollar Tree inside the skull. I have them on order because I've misplaced one size, and the big size that I usually use, I've noticed that the top of the skull has a dull part. A dull part, not a dull part, that would be weird. A dull area, it's not as shiny whenever I take the resin out, and I cleaned it and I don't understand why. And then I have added some more succulents. I've ordered some more succulent molds as well. And then I think I ordered 2 new Halloween molds, which is pretty exciting. So those should be coming in the next week. So I have things to keep me busy. This is not resin, but I also like to take the Precious Moments figurines and then I change them. So this was the cheerleader. She was holding pom-poms, but I made it into a plant person. So I thought the P for plants, and then she's going to be holding these 2 hanging baskets. I made the planters on the bottom, and then she's green. And then I added some clay, some resin clay, and these are going to be roots, and then she's going to have a plant growing out of her head. She's in progress. I thought I'd show that off to you as well. It's the next day. I had to wait. That's the hardest part of doing resin, is the waiting. I do have a little oven, I call it an oven, that cures up this, that speeds up the curing process 4 hours, but I didn't use it because I thought, I'm not in a new rush. Sometimes when I'm wanting to get a whole bunch of something at the same time, like bangles or little trinket boxes, I'll use it. But this time I decided not to. So speaking of bangles, I did make bangles yesterday, and the tricky part that I have run into is making sure that the top is as smooth and rounded, because the bottom is perfect because it's inside the mold, but then sometimes my tops tend to be a little dippy and then they're sharp. This is super cool resin. The mica powder that I used for this is color changing, and let's see how this turned out. People really liked these bangles and I really enjoyed making them. I'm outside again. That's why there's traffic. So there's this side is just a little on the rough side. So I have a little knife thing that I just run and make it smooth. So that way you're not at any risk of hurting yourself, because I tried to test it out as if it's smooth for me, and I know it'll be smooth for you. So then we have this purpley one. And then I made another one, and that top is pretty good. I feel pretty confident with that. I don't feel that needs me filling in. This one as well, there's a little dippy right here, but I am perfecting each time I make another one. These are really nice molds. I got them from littlewindows.com, and they have a centerpiece, but you can flip that over and you can use that. So it's kind of like 2 molds in one. And then I also have a square bangle that people also like, because if you have a larger wrist, or maybe this part of your hand is wider and it's hard for you to wear bangles, the square ones fit easily on most wrist and hand types. And then here's kind of a coppery color one. Again, I was using up my resin. And then I had some clear that I filled in. So that's very, very pretty. I think those turned out nice, and you can see how they fit like that. That's nice. All right, can't wear the merchandise. All right, let's see. We did, I showed you a pumpkin trinket with the hat yesterday, so I made another one. The one I showed you is orange and with a gray and purple hat. This one is also color changing. This green will glow bright green under a light. You can kind of already see that it is glowing already. Let me face it to you so you can see it unrolled as well. So far the brim looks good. Hoping that I didn't get another little bubble underneath that hat, the peak of the hat. It's gonna be good. Yeah, we got another little bubble there. Oh, that's okay. I think it's fine. It's not like there's a big chunk here, but I always disclose that when I am selling them, that it's not perfect right there, but I don't think it takes away from it. But you can see how it's very glowy. So that will glow very nicely. I love glowy things. And then the bottom is orange, and it changes to yellow under a light. And you can see I didn't stir in all of the mica powder because I kind of like how that looks. That it kind of gives it a speckly look to it. And let's see. That looks cool. So this is orange, and then it will change to yellow under a light. And let's see how it fits. There we go. Let's see. It goes right there. There it goes. That turned out super cute. I'll have to insert a picture of the color changing ones. I might smooth this out a little bit right there. I'll have to be more patient next time and just start in the corner, let it sit there, get the air bubbles out. But the brim is really nice, super adorable. I'll put them on. I'm going to put these on the box so you can see them after we're done, just like I showed you yesterday. Let's see, I did a whole bunch of little succulents with the leftovers. So you can see this is the purple leftover from the bracelets, and little purple succulents, an orange one, and oh, this one was neat. I just had a little bit left, so I sprinkled it in there, and then I added clear to it to give this kind of multicolored effect. Oh, this is a pumpkin. This one glows. It's white, but it glows. So that is a little pumpkin. I have a bigger pumpkin. And then here's a little baby skull. And this is a color changing one. It's a tiny little skull. So the green is, so the hat on here is green to green. This will go orange to yellow. The white goes to teal. These will glow teal. And the purple goes to magenta. So these are all thermal color mica powders. Turn this back inside out. This one takes 2 steps, has a little bit of fuzz on here. It is a pumpkin with a witch's hat, so the bottom of the hat is white, so it's already filled in there. And then I will have to fill in the orange part. So this is a 2-step one, so I'm not going to demold that one because it would just be the hat and it's not finished. I did another, here, this would be a green to green, another little succulent, so some glowy succulents here. And then I also did fish. We have 2 of the green, and then this one is going to be the, what was it? The white to teal blue fish. I'll show them to you on the box when I'm all done, but here's what they look like. And of course I'll show it with the lights because that's what makes it more magical. And then I made a whole bunch of birds. Green and purple, all just using again the leftover resin. That's why it's good to have tiny little molds, because then you can use up every last little bit. We have the 2 purple, and these last pretty good. This one mold actually itself has a tiny little tear to it, but I did order some more bird ones because it has a little tear. And when I pour it in, I squeeze the little beak a little bit so the beaks will be nice and smooth. So we have some purple birds there. I got 1 green one. That used up the last of the green resin. 1 orange bird. I love orange. That's my favorite color. Once you get it started, they tend to come off pretty good. You just have to get your fingernail under there. There we go. Ah! There's the orange one. And a purple one. And then I have a skull and 2 little little trinket boxes with corks tops. There's another purple one that I use. I call it for your potions, not lotions, because the resin that I'm using is not food safe. It does not say it on there. I used to use another brand that is food safe, but this one does not say food safe on it, so I'm not going to assume that it is. So I say that these are for your lotion, your potions, not your lotions. And they come, I order these extra, and they come, those are the little cork tops to them. And these were a big hit last year as well. And this is where I got the leftover for the bangle, because I used it for this one. It's a nice little size and shape jar. Twist it, and out it comes. This needs to be cleaned up a little bit with my little cutter thing. It got a little bit on the low side there, so I'll probably bring that down so it's flush. And then you have a little cork top to it. Isn't that sweet? And this powder here is chameleon powder. So this changes color in the light and when you shine light on it as well. And I will show that to you. We're just doing the demolding here on the front porch, so it's kind of hard to show the light, but I will definitely add that to this video so you can see how cool the chameleon powder is. And then this one is kind of a blue-green one. I've made dragons out of this powder before, and it's very pretty how it changes in the light. Trying to make this look effortless. It got rolled under there. There we go. All right, and this is my favorite part. And then you can see that is kind of a blue-green color. And again, I'll have to trim that down. No big deal, part of the process. And that has a little cork top to it too. And then the last thing, I'll put the bangles up there so you can see those. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was this. This is a flower, well, it's kind of like a sugar skull. It's a skull, and it has 3 roses in it. And I did the white, so this is going to be the white, and it'll be teal blue when you shine the light on it. And I dusted it with some powder, so the flowers are colored. And that turned out super good. That turned out really good. This time, in the past, I've always had trouble with this last petal not fully forming. And this time I really took my time and had the resin sit in there for a little bit, kind of rolled it around in there to make sure it got all those flowers. And I think that turned out beautiful. What do you think? All right, I got my black light, and I wanted to show you how they change. So here's the orange, and that glows yellow, and the purple to pink, the green to a bright green, and that way you can see if you had a black light how it changes. This one is kind of hard to see because it's so white and we're out here in the light. Maybe if I put it down here in the shadow a little bit. There you go. Now you can see how it glows. That's super cool. That would look neat with a light underneath it as a display. And then these, there you can kind of see it here. See how it's orange and yellow, and then it's blue and green. So those are that's the chameleon powder. The bangle will glow pink. This is the chameleon powder, and then here is the, whoops, let's get that in focus. It's the hat and the yellow pumpkin. If you saw some pieces in this video that you really like, look, there's Barney. I most likely have already sold them on my Whatnot sale, which is tonight, Friday. But never fear, I have molds, I can make more, and if you have any special requests, I would be happy to try and fulfill your request. If you say, like, can I have a set of the 3 pumpkins in a certain color? And I do sell them on Whatnot, so you do have to go over to Whatnot to purchase them. But I am hoping that every Friday I will be able to feed in some holiday resin, because I really missed it, and I know that some of you really, really enjoyed it. Also, if you have never been on Whatnot and you would like to try it, I have a link, I have an affiliate link in the description of every video that gives you $15 free. You don't have to purchase from me, but if you use that link, you get $15 to purchase something off of Whatnot. Didn't know if you saw that, but that's in the description of every video. Barney, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see ya. I I forgot to add that I also made another purple cat head that was on the table. And this will glow to pink. All right, see ya.